Good morning, Suzanne. I guess you are out somewhere on your workout, is it?
Yeah, I do this every day. I try my best. So even if it's like a bad day like today, it's kind of raining on me, but I still come out. I think it's really important. Yeah,
Definitely,
particularly.
health and well-being. Health and well-being has been highlighted since after COVID more than anything. I think people are very much aware about their own health and well-being now, isn't it? And especially in the case of international students, when we were talking about, I think this is an important topic to discuss. Why don't we talk about that today?
Oh, I think that's fantastic. It's one of those soft topics that not many people touch upon, but nevertheless very important because if you don't do it well, I think no international students could actually strive and
Mm.
survive. So yeah, let's get down to it.
That's right. That's right. And I was thinking about my time when I came in here. I think one of the biggest change that you see is you're coming from a highly populated country, right? And then suddenly you are on your own in student accommodation, or with few friends. But then comparatively, you are very lonely, and sometimes it gets to your head, and you may feel a bit depressed, you may feel a bit lonely, homesick. um, People don't give much of an attention to this, but then this is really really important. Like, how do you think, like in your experience, people go about solving that?
Yeah, Abby, I think this is such an important topic because without health, we got nothing. Without health, we don't have wealth. Let alone studying, right? So, the basis of all things, students have to feel very well physically and mentally. So, I reckon first of all, let's talk about the physical stuff because that's quite
Yeah,
obvious.
let's start with the physical
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
We all know that we have the national health system,
Mm.
okay, which is kind of free for everyone. But for international students, what do we have to do in order to access this service? It's like a health service system.
For the NHS, the student pay a initial health surcharge before they come here. That is during the visa process. But the kind of service and support that you get, it's amazing as compared to the cost that you're paying towards it initially, because it is 100% free. Your medicines, even if you had to go through, God forbid, if you should not, but any surgeries, which could be really very expensive, but that would be taken care, from small cough and colds to any surgeries. But the only thing is, like your dentals are not covered for
Yeah.
anyone, even for the British citizens, right? We have to go, certain parts of dental treatment has to be done privately. So international students and parents shouldn't be much worried about the physical health because of the NHS and the service and the support that NHS can provide from the day one, right? From the day one, they can, as soon as they come, they can register themselves with the local GP, general practitioner doctor, and which is available on locally where the student resides. And then then doctor
Yeah.
would help the student to do all the checkups timely. And then of course, if any problems, any questions that you may have, you can always reach out to your local surgery means the GP. Yeah. The different
Yeah.
definition of surgery in India, actually. Yeah.
So most importantly, the cost of this is already paid for when you actually get to the visa. Because without paying for the NHS, the health service, you can't get your visa. So
No.
all students got to bear in mind, you've already paid for it. So you are entitled to use the service. And what will happen is when you land in this country, you go to your respective universities or schools, you go to your university sort of surgery, we call it surgery. There
Yeah.
will be a clinic within the university, and talk to the nurses and ask what is the procedure to get you signed up to a dedicated GP. GP means general practice, because
Yeah.
every school, every university does it differently. So the first point of call is talk to someone, talk to your school nurse, talk to your university nurse or your clinic and ask what's the procedure. And once you're signed up, then whenever you feel bad, down, whether it's just a sniff or you do have a temperature, you go to that GP, you book an appointment, and everything, apart from dental, like you said, will be taken care of. It's an excellent service. So any international student, do not have to fear. You will be well taken care of, at least physically. This is what I said, physically, health, it's all done by the NHS.
Exactly. So yeah, that is a one box ticked off. But then it's not at least physically. I think NHS do have the mental health service as well, right? The counseling service. But then I believe more than NHS, the first point of contact, the more relevant contact could be the university counseling team,
Yeah.
because they know you more than. Or they know the pressure that you're going through or the condition that you're going through more than your GP would. So if a student is feeling a bit lonely, have any sort of depression, anxiety, or anything to do with that is not physical, but then you don't feel well, I definitely recommend go and talk to your university student support team. They have experienced counselors who would just listen to you. It may be anything about your breakup, your food that you're not enjoying, or anything.
Homesickness.
Yes.
Sometimes homesickness is very a big factor for a student not feeling 100% in the mind, or just not happy. Yeah, because we all know happiness is 100% so important. Without the happiness, you can't do anything right? Yeah.
Exactly. And you would need to find the happiness, more importantly. It is in your control end of the day, right? And the best way to do is to make friends. You would be only lonely if you want to be lonely. Make friends and get involved. I see some of the introvert students, and less outspoken, they find it difficult to make new friends, and especially when the students are a bit more mature than the others, they find it difficult to mingle around as well. But then there is no other option but to socialize, I believe so, especially when you need a company.
Yeah. I mean, you've already made the first step outside of your comfort zone. You've moved all the way across the globe to UK, yeah? So you made a start. So it's not as if you haven't actually begun. You have begun this journey. And just a little step more to get out of that comfort zone and just talk to your neighbors. If you're very bound to live in your own room, but you probably share a flat or share accommodation with someone else, sometimes just cook with them and exchange ideas, what's for dinner, what do you cook for in your culture, that sort of thing. Well, I'd like to touch upon an issue, going back to this mental wellness. A lot of students, particularly from Asia, I'm an Asian, so I totally understand. We think wellness or mental wellness, as a taboo subject that we don't like to touch upon, thinking that if I mention it, that means I'm Google, I'm Gaga, I'm not good. There's something wrong with it. But no. I mean, I have to be really honest. The whole of last year, the whole lockdown we've gone through 3 times, it's done my head in. That's why I'm out on a Monday morning. I've got to get out because it doesn't matter whether I run or walk. I have to get this out of the system. There are certain pressure points that everybody has. Once you go beyond that, you just break down. So students, very important. You need to flag it up to somebody. And every university will have someone out there who can talk to in confidence. It's going to be private, doesn't go anywhere. And let's share another key point, critical issue, why we need to talk to somebody before things get out of proportion. Should we tell our students why we need to do that?
Are you indicating about the impact on education or the grades?
The grades, actually, the grades,
No, you're right. Because what I have seen in my experience, that many students do not or could not perform well because of their mental health. But sometimes they do not recognize that they need help, and sometimes they're too shy to talk to somebody, right? And eventually what happens is, because of that mental stress, they could not perform well in the exam or in the test or in the assignments, and that would reflect on your end result. But if you would have spoken to somebody before that and explained it to your university counselor, at least you could tell them the reason behind your bad scores, or a reset, or another chance. What do you think? I have seen that happening quite often.
Yeah. To be honest, every now and again, about this time actually, Easter, April time, I always get phone calls from international students asking me to help them to negotiate or talk to the university about their conditions, about the issues they've gone through the whole past year. And the first thing I ask is, have you actually spoken to anyone in the university? Does your teacher know, or at least your counselor know? 9 out of 10 of these students will say, no, I've never flagged this up to anyone. And I just think it's such a shame because, you know, like anything in life, if you don't talk about it, nobody will know because you are, you know, issues are with you. If you don't make, you know, announce it, who will know? You know, nobody live with it inside your brain, right? So, and the sad fact is, if you had not made a record with the university officially, then sometimes the university cannot actually take that into account because things have already happened. I say you've already started the exam, you've already submitted your work or your thesis, and perhaps it has not gone as well as you had expected. And you would like to put forward a reason for that being because you had not been feeling well mentally or physically.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, since you have not spoken to anybody beforehand and you've only flagged this up after you have submitted or taken the exam, I would say sometimes university will not take that kindly. And
No,
it's not very easy. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If you are saying, so I got a bad grade and then I say, oh, I was not well, that may sound like an excuse, not like a reason behind it, right? And people would find it hard to believe when you are saying after it has happened. So it is very important to be open and honest about the situation that you are in. I remember a student from Coventry University reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and then she could not complete a couple of her modules. And then, of course, the university had to send her back to India because of non-progression. So they issued a letter. But then the student had some personal issue I cannot talk about, but it was never flagged to the university. And now when she is talking to the university saying, oh, I had this and that's the reason I could not, she is having a difficult time convincing them. I'm not too sure if what would be the outcome, will they agree or not? But then it is difficult. And if she would have spoken to the university before, they would have been aware of her situation. They would empathize and support more than anything else. Yeah. So somebody in the university, in the NHS, counselor services, something official, authoritative that you need to talk about so that there is some sort of an evidence.
Yeah, definitely. And just one last thing I want to add is that because you mentioned about your student at Coventry maybe failing a module of her exam. Exactly. Every university has their own rules of how many modules you can flunk before you get kicked out. And that's all written in the handbook, the student handbook when you first arrive. So I would implore all our students to read the handbook. It might not be the most fun thing to read. It's sometimes quite thick, but get to the bottom of it. Read about the part, what you need to do, how many credits you need to gain in order to really successfully pass your exam and therefore gain your degree. Because the rules are some universities will allow you to fail twice, how many modules, and then you can resit. But some are very strict. Some say, if you fail the core modules, then that's it, you're out. So you've got to be careful with that.
Makes sense perfectly. So yeah, in a nutshell, just to conclude, I think the mental and physical health for anyone, not let only international student, but for anyone is so important. So please do not ignore it. Identify it, highlight it, and seek help. That is more important. And go out for running like Susan is doing now, early morning, right? Look after yourself.
It is freezing though. But I'm determined to finish this today. So yeah.
Perfect. Glad we spoke about this, Susan. And students, if you have any questions about how to register in NHS, what happens after this or after that, please do comment. Share this video to the students, those who are planning to come in this September 21 or later. So best of luck and have fun. Like, share, and comment below.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been fun. Lovely seeing you guys again. Gotta run.
Yeah. See ya.